After being on absolute fire for the past couple of years, the real estate market here in Frisco, Texas, just like many other places, seems to have ground to a halt. So, what in the world is going on? And what does it mean if you've been considering buying or selling a home? Hi, this is Andrew with the S2 real estate team here in Frisco, Texas. And it's crazy to think how much things have changed and how fast they have changed. We knew things were going to change, but the speed of the change is crazy. We have gone from builders with hundreds of people on the wait list, with home buyers trying to get in and not being able to builders now releasing homes ahead of schedule, wait lists that are cleared. They're back to offering some incentives, and likewise, on the resale side, you're seeing inventory start to climb, which is good news. You're also starting to see a few more price reductions. And it's got a lot of people nervous, to be honest with you. And I don't blame you. I mean, it's been absolutely crazy in what's gone on. So when the price reductions start to happen, people naturally think, oh my gosh, the market's crashing. The market's in a free fall. It's not, and I'll explain. And home buyers right now, they're in a little bit of disbelief from what we're experiencing. And a lot of it is due to the fact that mortgage rates have jumped substantially, substantially higher and faster than we had imagined. So it's got many people wondering, should I buy? Should I sell? Should I sit and wait? And the honest answer is it's going to be different for everybody. Your situation is going to be different from somebody else's situation. So you need to do what's best for you. And I want you to make that decision based upon facts, not fear. And that's what I want to do today is just share a little bit of information for you on what we see going on here locally and hopefully give you the information that you need to make the best decision for you. So I came across a great article in the last couple of days from Business Insider, and I'm going to share my screen with you now. All right, so here we are in the article, and what this article is talking about is the standard phases in an economic cycle or a real estate cycle, I should say. It starts out here by saying the home buying game is changing, and I'm not going to read the whole article, but it says a real estate cycle typically occurs in four phases: expansion, hypersupply, recession, and then recovery. And Todd Metcalf, who's the senior economist at Moody's, said, we're not following the typical phase here, but then again, why should we? What of the past couple of years has been typical in life as we know it? And as he goes on to say here, in the typical narrative, the hypersupply occurs because construction companies overbuild, there becomes a glut of housing units, and this occurred during the previous housing bubble when prices really crashed. However, at the national level right now, we're still seeing a severe housing shortage. We're still seeing it here in Frisco and Prosper as well. Okay, so even though residential construction, especially here, I mean, there's been building going on everywhere. And even though residential construction has fallen to its slowest pace since April 2021, the overall housing market still needs millions of homes to meet buyer demand. We've been saying forever, especially if you've been watching any of the videos we put out, we have a massive supply and demand imbalance going on right now that has been over a decade in the making. And we're still seeing it. The slowdown in construction here that we've been experiencing for much of the past year hasn't been due to a lack of demand. It's been due to supply chain issues and the builders having to wait for windows and for brick and for appliances and for Tyvek on the outside of the homes. All kinds of issues has slowed construction down and caused the pace of newly completed homes to continue to fall. So with regard to the hyper supply that you usually see in the cycle, the housing market is now entering demand exhaustion. In this phase, home prices don't fall due to a surplus of inventory. They instead decline as buyers' ability to afford them wanes. That's not because demand for housing has gone away, but because the rapid rise of interest rates has made it so that many people can no longer afford a home. As I've mentioned before, a 1% increase in the mortgage rate decreases a buyer's purchasing ability by approximately 10%. When you look at what the price of homes has done in Frisco and the fact that interest rates are now up nearly 3%, which would equate to a 30% reduction in home buying ability, is it any wonder that it seems as though buyers have pumped the brakes and slowed down substantially? It's typically slow over a holiday weekend, but you're just not seeing the activity we saw recently. As a matter of fact, I just took a look this morning at all of the home sales over the past 15 days. And believe it or not, homes are still selling for the majority over list price. They're no longer selling drastically over list price like they were, but it's much, much closer to where the list price was, but still over in most cases. Not everyone, but in most cases. So Metcalf goes on to say here with regard to this demand exhaustion, it's a result of buyer burnout. And that doesn't usually lead to a dramatic drop in prices, but instead expect to see some modest declines. That also means for those of you sitting on the sidelines expecting home prices to tank like they did in 2008, and I know there's a lot of videos, I know there's news reports, I know there's things out there talking about it, but I'm just telling you that in the data right now, there is no indication of it. This is playing out exactly like we've been talking about for the past few months. I'm not saying I'm any expert on this, but I'm just watching the numbers, doing the research, and putting this information out so hopefully that you can make that best decision for you. The builders are going to continue building, right? They're not building at the levels they were prior to the housing bubble, which created this hyper supply. That glut of housing, as demand fell, is what caused us to have a problem. And we're not seeing that today. So to give you an idea on that, I'm just going to share one more thing with you. And this is the current updated market report for Frisco. As you can see here, this market action index. And if you don't get a copy of this report, please check the description below. You can click a link to this report. Right here, you can search any city or zip code and you can subscribe and have this information delivered straight to your inbox. It's accurate and up to date and is updated every single Monday. So right now, we're still running a strong seller's market. A month ago, we were at an index of 92. Right now, we're at 81. Anything over a 30 is generally considered a seller's market. The conditions more favor sellers. Does that mean your home is going to sell on a weekend with multiple offers? No, it doesn't. Does it mean that, oh my gosh, you've missed the market because your home's been up for sale for a couple of weeks? No. What it means is conditions are starting to return to normal. And that's something that we can all look forward to. So rather than thinking about this big crash or something else that's going to happen, or it's just going to be a magic pop of a bubble that right now doesn't exist, it's not. We're actually cooling and starting to return to normal. So here's something I want to do to point that out to you. Our prices here in Frisco are still continuing to rise, nowhere near as fast as they were. But take a look at this, right? So we've been talking today about hyper supply or an oversupply. You can see here that since March, the amount of inventory we have on the market here in Frisco is jumping. That's the steepest upswing in this curve we have seen in quite a while. And this is a 7-day rolling average, okay? But look at where we were in July of 2019, the last July we had before the pandemic hit. Okay, the 7-day average back then, 954 homes for sale, 316. So we're still a third of what we had back then. So although it's improving, it's still got quite a long way to go. So again, do I have all the answers? No, I certainly don't. But I just want to provide you with these updates and have information so that you've got that data so that you can make the decision that's best for you. With regards to buying, if you're in the market to buy right now, on the positive side, there is much more available. The builders have more available, and they're offering some great incentives, including interest rate buy downs. So even though the mortgage rate might be hovering right around 6%, we're getting notifications right now where the builders will buy that rate down and lock it into you right around 4.25 to 4.5. Huge difference. And that could be an opportunity for you that didn't exist just a couple of months ago. If it's not the right time to buy, get that market report. Keep an eye on what's going on so that you can make the decision for when it is for you. And for sellers, what you've got to realize right now is, I put out a video with my business partner Troy last week talking about pricing your home. You can't price it the way you did a couple of months ago. That's why you're seeing so many price declines in the market right now. You're trying to get into the multiple offer situation that existed that isn't quite there, and that buyer demand is falling. So you've got to be very careful on how you price your home and expect that you're going to sit on the market longer than you would have just a couple of months ago. So, again, I hope this information is useful. If you have any questions whatsoever, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. Troy and I are always happy to talk to you. You can reach us at 469-296-5230 or send an email to contact@s2realestateteam.com.